Hey, welcome to my channel. All right, first two things. First thing is the Dodgers Blue Jays game. That was an amazing ending of Game 7. I mean, honestly, I never thought that would have happened. That was by far a great ending in a game series, a Game 7 World Series, quite honestly. The fact of the matter is how the Dodgers came back was impressive. And quite honestly, I was surprised about Yamamoto being put in there after pitching the day before 96 pitches. I'm like, I don't know what Dave Brown was doing. I was like, if they lose, Dave Brown made the wrong choice, but he got lucky with Yamamoto. Let's be honest. If Pages doesn't get that catch that fly ball, the Blue Jays win the World Series. Let's be honest, they win the World Series right there. And even Yamamoto realized like, oh, I made a dumb pitch, and he realized he made this, he made a mistake in the pitch. But quite honestly, it was surprising like how it ended. I mean, I honestly thought 2 outs away from winning the World Series, Rojas hitting that homer. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And like he hits the homer, I'm like, wow, okay, this is like it was simply impressive. Let's be honest. I'll say that was simply impressive. Um, but comes to the fact of like, well, look at it this way: the Dodgers won the World Series because they paid for it practically. Because overpaying, basically, small market teams will have a hard time getting into the World Series because the fact is like they had Shohei Ohtani, they had Freeman, they had Muncy, they had Betts. Even though Betts was kind of, quite honestly, this is the World Series where it was the wrong time he actually started to slump. And then you had quite a few other players at that point as well too. I mean, and Yamamoto. Sasaki is. I'm a little happy that the Mets didn't sign Sasaki, but I'm still pissed off that the Mets couldn't get Yamamoto last year. If you had Yamamoto, we probably would have done really well. Yeah, quite honestly, with Yamamoto, we wouldn't have this whole pitching situation and whatnot. But that's that's different to say the least, anyways. But it will be interesting. Sorry, it will be interesting to see how the the offseason plays out now. What Stearns and specifically Cohen will do now, because quite honestly, we've seen that they need pitchers. McLean makes sense. They've gotten some coaching changes have been made. Let's see what happens with the pitching coach at this point. I mean, they're on the verge of getting that dude basically, but I want to solidify everyone. But quite honestly, I'm not going to talk about the Mets just yet. I'll talk about them like a little bit later on in the year or end of the year or maybe next year, basically, um, just before the basically. Sorry, got a few things going on right now. But in any case, it was like I said. If you watched it, you watched it, and it was amazing. Basically, I have about maybe 40 minutes to say the least for the parade to happen. I'm not in LA. I'm in Southern California, yes, but not in LA. But it was pretty impressive, quite honestly. Now, seeing how that had played out, it was a case where, like, as a Blue Jays fan, it kind of sucks. Because as a Mets fan, I was hoping for the Blue Jays to win. More so, not because of the fact of being a Mets and I hated how the Dodgers beat the Mets last year, but more so is the fact is like it would have been interesting to see how the Blue Jays won, what Canada would do in regards to commercials and what they would do to Donald Trump. It's like, hey, you want to put tariffs? Well, we'll just win all your things basically, all your championships. But of course, the Blue Jays lost. It would have been an interesting way of putting it this way. It would have been interesting if the Blue Jays had won because they were an underdog. Let's be honest, they were truly an underdog from a perspective of going against the Dodgers. No one had thought that they were going to go to the World Series this year. It was either going to be everyone was thinking this was going to be the Yankees, it was going to be the Astros, or the Mariners for that matter. No one, I don't think anyone thought the Blue Jays at the beginning of the season would have gone to the World Series. Everyone figured the Dodgers were the favorites, the heavy favorites, which they were, and they did. Brewers, I'd say, but the Brewers, they're 2 players away, 2 pitchers away. I'll say, I mean, sorry, 2 pitchers away from getting over that hump. They need those 2 pitchers, but the problem is like being a small market team, it's going to be hard for them at that point. But in any situation, I'm hoping this next season, it's the Mets season, and everyone's saying it's a Dodger dynasty right now. Only because the fact is like the way they've been winning for since 2018 and on, it kind of can be in a ways, but they haven't always been in the World Series. I mean, like they won back to back, yes, But if they win back, if they three-peat, it'll be interesting to see. But this is where I'm hoping the Mets will come in and actually do something and like actually take them down. Basically, I'm hoping the Mets can take them down. But in any case, that's part one of the segment of this discussion. Part two now is, which the next 5 minutes is. I hate to say this, but like even though the Giants did decent, I mean Dart was doing decent enough to the point where like he kept him in there a little bit. Dart's definitely the future of this team. Jackson Dart is definitely the future of this team. We've always had issues. Daniel Jones, everyone thought Daniel Jones was, and like he didn't, thrive. But now going into a new system, he's thriving now. But reality is Jonathan Taylor. Sorry, Jonathan Taylor is a beast, and so you saw if Daniel Jones has a beast behind him, he'll be okay at that point. But reality is like it'll be interesting to see when Jonathan Taylor gets injured or is not playing. It'll be interesting to see how Daniel Jones plays out at that point. Because like from a perspective, he can be a decently good game manager, but at the same time, like I said, time will only tell when they start playing other teams. Basically, at this point, like really superior teams, like the Bills, like I was gonna say the Jaguars, but can't say the Jaguars because the way they were playing as of late. Let me see Indianapolis Colts. Let's see what their schedule is. I mean, they beat the Raiders. I mean, that was a given right there. The fact that the way they beat the Chargers was a little surprising. Steelers was a bit of a surprise as well too. I'll be honest. Like it showed this, they lost to the Steelers. So it shows this is how they're gonna play. So like it'll be interesting to see how they play against the Falcons. Well, I don't want to say the Falcons, but it'll be interesting to see how they play against the Chiefs in 2 weeks from now, because we saw how they played the Steelers. The Chiefs are gonna exploit them, and the Chiefs are definitely gonna be pissed off the way they lost to the Bills. Kadarius Toney. I mean, he's no longer a Giant, so I don't really care at this point because this shows the reason why the Giants got rid of him. Basically, this is the reason why the Giants got rid of him. So, but like I said, in this situation with Dart, I think we've got our future quarterback. It's now a matter of I hate to say this, but our defense sucked horribly. This is supposed to be a defense that was supposed to be probably ranked top 10, but in reality is they're not. The defensive coordinator Cohen is going to have to be gone. He has to be. I don't want to say he's got to be shown the door, but they're not doing much. And the thing is, ultimately falls down onto Dable as well too. So problem is Dable, he's definitely a guy that can recognize talent and pick talent. He can actually mold him as well at the same time, but at the same time, I don't think he's built as a head coach. Quite honestly, I think this is a guy that needs to go into the college world, build himself up in the college world, and then come back, basically, because he knows how. You know what? Honestly, I don't think he's meant to be an NFL head coach. I think he's meant to be a college head coach, because this is a guy that knows how to mold players. He's built specifically for college football. Honestly, I think Dable would be like the new Saban, basically. Quite honestly, I think he'd be the new Nick Saban, basically. But in any case, sorry, just got a message. But in any case, they're 2-7. The Giants are 2-7. Do I see the Giants winning any games from here on out? No. Honestly, this is probably going to be it. It's probably going to be 2-15, maybe 3-14. I don't know. Hell, look, if they get 6 wins, it'd be mad impressive at this point. But reality is, I don't see them winning the next quite a few games after this point on. It's a sad state we're in. I have a feeling Dable's going to be gone. Schoen's probably going to be gone as well too. Shane's going to be gone as well too. It'd be nice to have the stability for the Giants, but Mara, this is the New York market, basically. Mara understands that. He's not going to let the fans drive his decision, but at the same time, they are going to kind of push him a little bit, because we saw what they wanted to do with Dable. The fans wanted to get rid of Dable. I think Dable is, like I said, he's definitely a good offensive coordinator. He definitely knows how to mold his players, but I don't think he's built just yet as a head coach. Maybe he learns on the job. I don't know. Shane, he's got to do something. He's got to learn to be creative now and get some offensive weapons for Dart, because right now you don't. There's nothing else at this point right now, because Taylor Jr. He's not your running back. The fact that you got Scadaboo over Taylor, I mean, Taylor was supposed to be that person, and Scadaboo was supposed to be a 1-2 punch, but it's turning out Taylor Jr. is not that. Scadaboo is. It's only time will tell when he comes back. The Giants need a couple of wide receivers as well too. Slayton is not your wide receiver. You know Neighbors is, but he's injured. You needed another guy. I mean, it's not going to be there for a while. So I hate to say as well, it will be interesting to see how the Giants play out with this draft and see how well they pick from there. Question is, will Shane and Dable be around? I want to say, yeah, maybe, because Mara's probably going to be a little patient, and he thinks he could probably get him with, Dable could remind him a little bit of like a Bill Parcells, but the problem is Parcells is more of a defensive and offensive, defensive coach as well too. Problem is, Dable does not have that defensive coordinator. He needs that proper defensive coordinator. The problem is he's not going to find one. Only way he's going to find one is if he pulls someone from Buffalo, which he's not going to. Maybe one of the linebacker coach, or two, maybe still some Spagnola's coordinators. Basically, Spagnola is a really good defensive coordinator, but I don't think he's going to find one there. You know what? It's possible. Aaron Glenn. It's possible Aaron Glenn could be your defensive coordinator, because I don't think he's going to last with the Jets. It'd be surprising if he does last with the Jets, but I don't think he's going to. It'd be good if he could. But if not, maybe the Giants get Aaron Glenn. But reality is, I honestly, wholeheartedly believe the Giants should try to bring in Antonio Pierce as the defensive coordinator, because this is a guy that was helping the Raiders to have a really good defense. I think he can build the Giants defense at this point. The question is, will the Giants be willing to bring in Antonio Pierce? I don't know. But again, time will only tell. Let me know your thoughts about the Giants. Do you think Dable or Shane will be here at the end of the year? If you do, again, leave them in the comment section. I do read them all, and I do respond to them when they want a response. Similarly, with the World Series between the Dodgers and Dodgers and the Blue Jays, do you think this was by far the best World Series in the past 10 years? Or past 15 years, let's be honest. Or is this a case where this, Game 7 was the reason why that this became a great series, because of Game 7 itself? And as well as Game 3. I mean, 18 innings was pretty impressive. Man, impressive, quite honestly. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts. And the question is do you think Yamamoto is kind of more a dominant pitcher than Shohei Ohtani? I hate to say this, but Shohei Ohtani focused on hitting, let it be the DH hitter. I don't think he could probably be a good reliever pitcher, but I think he's more of a hitter than a pitcher nowadays. Yamamoto, he definitely deserved that MVP. If Yamamoto, let's put it this way: if Ohtani hit the home run in Game 7 and won the World Series for them, I think then it becomes Ohtani that becomes MVP. But reality is, it shifted to Yamamoto, because based on the way those two games he pitched, as well as last 3 innings of Game 7, Iron Man as he is, Ohtani could have been one. If he doesn't give up that home run. If he doesn't give up that home run, Ohtani could have been the MVP at that point. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts about the World Series as well too. Again, leave your comments in the comment section. I'll respond to all when they warrant a response. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.